to create, name of those objects, any variable accessed or imported if you require from outside, so you can import that, declare local variables if you require those, write the body of the object, that is the begin and end procedure, okay, and end it. So procedural extensions and stored procedural. SQL provides this language where you can perform with a module wise. Particular module, complete module you will execute together, right? So permits definition of procedure in SQL. Here, when we are learning today SQL, procedure, function, for all these, you know already that you have studied if else, while loop. All these are nothing but a part of this. You require somewhere in this type of coding where we are using the SQL. So for that you require this if then else whatever statements while loop in the procedure body. Stored procedure, what are called as a stored procedure? So in exam, this question was asked for a stored procedure, which was for 5 marks. But for that, if you don't know, you are not having enough theory to write, just mention the procedure part first, how to create a procedure, and then go to the stored procedure. Okay. So now what is a stored procedure? Can store the procedure in your database. Why we require to store the procedure? Because once you have created, you are storing that procedure somewhere in your database, then you can execute them using the call statement. So whenever you require, just write a call statement and you can call that procedure. You will ask that procedure to be executed. So that is the requirement of the procedure, or that is the advantage of the procedure. So every time you don't require to write complete procedure. You just create it, save it in your database, and just use a call statement with the values whatever you want to pass on with to that procedure, and then you will get the result. Permit external application to operate on the database without knowing about internal details. That is, the procedure is already created, it is stored. So external application, if they want, they can work with your procedure. Right now, we are not going to in detail of this. This is definitely a requirement of the large procedure where your system is very large, like a industry, actual industry, where we are using the database. So that place, they are using such type of things where you are just storing your data as a part of procedure, and later on just calling that through the call statement. Procedure may have 0 to many parameters. So it requires some parameters. So here 0 means no parameters to the procedure. It is possible. Every procedure will have 2 parts, as I told you previously in first slide only. That is one part is a body of the procedure. So before that, whatever you are writing is nothing but the header portion. So the first part of the procedure is known as a header portion, which comes before the as part, as keyword, whatever you have written, create procedure and so on. Sometimes in place of this as, some software use the is. So that is also acceptable. So it depends on your software which you are using. So it is alternative. Keywords, these keywords are used. Second one is a body, which is everything after this keyword as or is. Okay. The word replace is optional. This I already told you, replace keyword why we are using. Just if your procedure is already there and if you want to modify the procedure, you can just use create or replace. Or you can say, if you are not using the replace, then and you are running the procedure, it will give you error that the procedure already exists. So for that, you have to first drop that procedure and then you have to create it. So that is also possible, means if you can do, it is also acceptable. But if you want to, in first step, first time execution, you can write about create or replace. But if you are not sure whether the name of the such procedure is exists, you can just write create procedure. And then if the error pop up that the procedure already exists, you can drop that procedure and again you can create the procedure. This is what structure of the procedure, as we said, create or replace command, first line. So here you can see the one of the example which procedure is created. You can see create or replace command. So we have used that. Then we are having the object to be created. What object we want to create or replace? What we want to create? We want to create a procedure. So that object is here procedure. create or replace object is procedure right now, mind. Object, that is procedure name. This is the name of my object, that is a procedure name. Any variables accessed or imported. So that is whatever variables you want to import or access, use from your already existing table. So that I have written inflation rate, so INF rate in number. Okay, here the keyword are used as in. Here we are not writing like column name, then attribute name and the size. Here just we are writing the attribute name in whatever data type is there. Okay, this is done till here, any variable access or imported. Then we are starting with the begin part. Procedure body, that is a declare local variable. So this is procedure body, begin and end of the procedure. Here I am having local variables with this update employee. What I want to do in my procedure, I want to update my employee table, set salary equal to salary plus inflation rate divided by 100. So this is some calculation which I am doing here. Now the same thing if I want to do for my database, I can do this with only update thing, right? But I have used here column name, where what I am doing here, inflation rate value is not present over here. I am going to pass the value for that. So what I will do, I will store this procedure, and then later on, according to that, I will pass the value whenever I require, because this rate may be changing every time. So I will pass the value, and finally I will get the result based on this. Okay, so that is the use of procedure. So that is written over here. I will just explain that. So to compile the procedure, every time when you are creating a procedure, you require to compile it and execute that procedure. So one time you can compile it and then later on you can execute it. So for that we require this @ whatever is your procedure name of the procedure. Okay, so this is used to compile the procedure. Okay, and once it is compiled, then it is available in your database for the execution. That already you know what is compilation and execution, so no detailed explanation of that. And finally, when you want to execute the procedure, you just write execute procedure name and whatever value you want to pass on in that. So here for inflation rate, I am passing 2. So based on this, it will consider the 2 value in place of inflation rate, that is INF rate, which I am considering over here, and according to that, it will calculate the value. Salary value will be present in that particular column of that table employee, right? So based on that, I will get the value for the salary. Fine. To compile a procedure once it has been modified. So at least once you need to compile a procedure, so that whenever you are modifying the procedure, see to it that you will compile it at least once, so that it will available in your database and anytime you can use it. Okay. So another issue is many times, even during the practical, when we are doing SQL practical, it is always suggested to you people, write your code in a notepad file. So whenever you are running and you are getting error, you can modify it easily and just copy paste over there, you will get your result. So that is always a better solution. So for procedure also they are saying that is also possible. Or for procedure, write in notepad, store as one of the script file and run it. It means that they can be easily editable. Also, you will have a copy if required. Or you can write in notepad as a backup for you. Just copy paste it. That is also simple option. No need to resave as a script file. Because now in other system software which we are using, it will not accept as a script file. We have to import it. So rather than that, just write in notepad. For your backup, just copy paste it. For high level, you can go for a script file. This is one of the another example for a procedure. Now the idea is clear, right? Where we are creating create or replace procedure name as keyword or is keyword, optional, anyone is accepted. These are the parameters v_emp number, that is a number. Here I have used something known as a cursor. Cursor is a keyword and curve1 is the name of the cursor. Okay, the cursor concept actually I will explain you at the end of this lecture, but still right now if it is here, I'm just saying in cursor I want this result. I'm storing the result. Cursor is, cursor is like a buffer. just temporary storage. Remember that. So I'm storing the result over here, or whatever I've written here, that I'm storing is in this cur1. So whenever I want to just use it, I will just use this cursor one instead of writing all this. That is just right now. Remember, cursor is nothing but a buffer storage. So cursor, name of the cursor is cur1 is select employee number from EMP where salary is greater than 10,000. So here I got the result, some result which is stored in this cursor one, cur1. Okay. Now this is my procedure body started actually. Procedure body is completely from here, but always begin to end we consider as a body part. So open cursor. Now I am referring the value which I am having here. So open the cursor, loop. In that I am saying fetch cursor 1 into this VEMP1 which I have created here. So whatever values are there in cursor 1, fetch those value into this EMP number, VEMP number, and exit when cursor 1% not found, when no value found or cursor is not found over there, no value found for this. So exit, don't execute anything. Update then employee, set salary equal to salary plus 500 where EMP number equal to so and so. If exit not found, exit means you will directly come out of this loop. Okay. If not, then you will go continue with this part. That part already you know when you have studied the Java as well. In that you have studied when to come out of the loop and all that, right? So that is written exit when the cursor not found. If it is not there, then from this you will come to this line. Okay, because if cursor is present, then definitely the values are there. Then you will continue here and you will end the loop which you have started at end of that, because here it will go into the loop. That is about the one of the example for the procedure. Execute the procedure name. So for this my procedure name is proc1. So I have written just execute proc1. Then in order to execute a procedure in Oracle, I have just added one more example, which is begin and end you have to write. In between that you have to write the procedure name, only proc1. For SQL, you have to write execute procedure name. Okay, that we will create the procedure during the practical session. Meanwhile, you should know the theory part for that. So here again another example, that previous one just now we saw related to that only, somewhat similar to that. Only thing here, I have written one new line. You can see this line. Sorry. DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. This is nothing but like your print statement. We are using, right, print statement. So in database for procedure, when you want to print line, we have to write down this statement, DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. This complete one. And in between that, in bracket, whatever you want to display, that will be anything. That can be anything, okay? So here, DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. This is something known as a PL/SQL programming language, where we are using such statement, if else, and everything. Coding part we are doing. So this is for that. That is a new thing which is added other than previous example. Everything is there. These are the variables which are passing, local variable if you want to declare, begin and end, start with the procedure. Then these are if else, whatever in between that conditions we want to apply, statements. Okay, so this is something new. Remember this line, when external is asked for procedure, if you want to print any line, what comma, what statement you will use. So you should know DBMS underscore dot put underscore line. Okay. Now, what all parameters are there? Here you have seen lots of parameters we are using. Variable passed into procedure, and here you are having some parameter, right? So what all type of parameter are there? So modes of the parameter, there are three. One is in, second is out, and third is in out. Okay, so parameters are the means to pass values to and from the calling environment to the server, right? So you already know what are the parameters. These are the values that will be processed or returned via the execution of the procedure. So over there in procedure, the parameters are of three types: in, out, and in out. Mode specify whether the parameter passed is read. When it is in, it is read, or reading, or it is receptacle, or for what it comes. So now here when it is you are saying in for a parameter means you can only read the thing, read the content. If it is out means you can write, and if it is in out means both way, read as well as write. So that I have given in detail over here for with example. When it is in, passes a value in the program, read only value, you can only read. Out passes a value back from the program. From the program you will get the value, that is write only value. And in out passes value to the program and also send the value back from the program. So that is both in and out, read and write. Values will be read and then written. Okay, so these are the three type of parameter. How to write those I will explain. So again, in those modes, those are the modes to write the parameter. For that, you are having two types of parameter. One is formal and actual. Formal is what are the names specified within the parenthesis as part of the header of a module. Header, before is or as part is a header. So over there, if you are writing any parameter, those are called as a formal parameter in the parenthesis. So here, these are in the before as keyword, whatever in bracket you are writing this parameter v underscore cus. In, see here in keyword is there. So the here you are writing as a formal parameters. Actual parameter are the values, expressions specified within parenthesis as a parameter list when a call is made to the module. So when we have written right inflation here. Inflation rise and with something value. This is actual parameter. Value to that whatever I am asking before to this value. Here inflation rate. This is formal parameter and this is actual parameter. The formal parameter and the related actual parameter must be of the same or compatible data type. Definitely, if we are saying for this inflation rate, I am saying integer while passing, but then here it has to accept that number, it is accepted. If I am writing a character and I am passing integer value, definitely it will not accept it. So that has to be of the same data type. And if you are having more than one parameter to be passed or whatever, so according to that, the order is very important. So matching actual and formal parameter. For that, again, you have two ways. One is positional notation and second is a name notation. As I told you, right now, previous example, inflation rate, there was only one parameter. So there was no issue of that. Suppose there are two parameters for which you are going to pass on the value. So in that case, the order is important or the name of the parameter is also important. So that there are two ways. One is a positional notation. What is a positional notation? Simply association by position. Suppose I have written inflation rate, comma, in number, and second one I am saying suppose data, for example, data in character. Whatever data, assume it as one of the column, or salary in, not salary, name in column, name in character. So in this situation, students, I have to pass the value such that first is inflation rate in number. So I will pass suppose 2, comma. Suppose I have said second as a name in character. So it should be John. So order based on the name. Whatever values I am having in the before the as keyword. So that is in a formal parameter. So in formal parameter, you can see 1 minute. So based on this positional parameter, I'll just show example. Here you can see I am having procedure find name where bracket is there after name, ID in number and name out varchar 2. Okay, so here when I am executing calling the procedure, I have to write in that order only. ID in number, so I have to write first. based on that. And name out varchar, so I am writing the name second. So based on these are my formal parameter and these are my actual parameter. Here I have mentioned this ID first because it is first here in formal parameter. I have specified name second because here it is in second as per the formal parameter. So that is very important. Based on the position you are providing the value. So that is known as a positional notation. Okay. And second one is a named position, name notation. Name notation is explicit association using the symbol. So that is nothing but formal parameter name. Then you have to use this symbol, arrow, 2 lines or arrow, argument value. So when you are saying you want to use with a name notation, so you have to write this. So here in name notation where you are connecting with the formal parameter and argument value. So here order doesn't matter. But in position notation, order matter. So here I can write execute name of the procedure. I can write ID arrow 127 name arrow whatever is the name. So this is known as a name. So here whether I write first part as a name or second part as a name doesn't matter, because I am writing the column name with that. So that is you are mentioning in the name notation using this symbol, whatever is given as an arrow. Okay, for name notation, this symbol is important. Where order doesn't matter because we are writing based on the name of the parameter. We are mentioning that parameter name and the value together. Then comma separated with the second one. Okay, so this is for a positional parameter. A named parameter, just I said, here you write the name. For example, in this situation, when I am calling the procedure, I will say, for example, I want to say name first. I will say name, arrow, Jyotsna. So my name, comma, ID, arrow, 127. Okay. So this is about formal and actual parameter. These are again a few procedure examples I have added for you people. You can see here, suppose your question is actually this I want to ask you people to write, but now it is visible, it's okay. The author count function could instead be written as procedure. Just for your understanding, it is written as a function. I have to find out the author count of the author from my table. How many authors are there? So for that, I have created a procedure. Create procedure, name of the procedure. This can be any name. In customer name, which is varchar 20. Out a count integer. So these I want as a result. These I want you to take as a value input. Read the value. This is who provide the answer out. So previously we saw the name, customer name in number. So this is another way to write the values or parameters, that is in customer name varchar 20. Again I am saying no lowercase uppercase. Case sensitive is not applicable here. So don't worry about that. In this is customer name. So read the customer names whatever are available in the table. Out, that is the result which I want, right? Author count I want, right? So I have taken a count as a name for that parameter name. Begin, I will say select count of author into a count because that is the name which I have considered, and author is the name which is present in my table. So from depositor table, where depositor.customer name is same as account underscore count underscore procedure dot customer name. Why I have written this? Because customer name which I am taking here, I want to tell that this is the same name which I want to refer from the table, because this is a parameter of my procedure. Okay, I'm just creating this procedure with this parameter. So I want to tell that this is same as the customer name present in the depositor. So that I have mentioned here. Okay, so ending with that. Now I have a procedure created, it is stored, but I have not executed it, right? So here procedure can be invoked by using call statement. For example, I will say declare a count as integer, call a procedure name procedure name. For example, suppose I want to find out the author count for Smith, how many books or whatever account he is having or further related with that particular table. So I will say for Smith, I'm passing the value. See, these are the two values which I'm passing. Customer name I'm passing as a Smith. For that, I want the account number. So customer name, it will check with this is matching over here. It will check with the depositor table, customer name Smith, and accordingly it will find the author for account for that. So here, this I will get result where I am providing this value in and out. Okay, so this is about the procedure. These are some constructs. I'm not going to explain all these. This is just the syntax which you have to refer for while using with the use of while, repeat. Here I have said while, so that repeat. This you can read by yourself. You will understand. Sorry. Declare the variable in, and then while loop start condition. You know the syntax for that, right? While, how it works. It requires increment, decrement operator, and all that. Okay. So this I'm just going ahead. For loop, you just require declare variable. For R, as whatever your balance, this based on the table you require. Select this balance, do this for the operation. Then conditional statement, if this is there, then what, if then else. So if it is so and so thing, then set the value, else if, check again, then set the value, again else, set the value, and finally end it. So that is already you people know, only the statement which are used here are our SQL statement, nothing else. So that is about the procedure. Any doubt in the procedure? Any student? Else we will go ahead quickly with the function also. So procedure, basic use of procedure is you can store the procedure and anytime you can call the procedure. With the help of that, you don't require to create the procedure every time. Yes, Shubham? Shubham, what you want me to explain again? Just let me know. Which part, Shubham? I'll just show the slides. You just tell me which part you want me to explain. Procedure, okay. You want entire procedure to be explained? Or one example? Okay, I'll just go quickly summarize this. Procedure is nothing but one of the complete module we are going to execute together to perform some action where it depends on one or more action. Here main difference between procedure and function is there is a procedure does not need to return any value. That is the point you remember. Then we are having these are the steps to execute the procedure which I will explain over there. Next slide, we have with the example, so I will explain them. Now, difference between procedure and normal procedure basically are called as a stored procedure. Why the stored procedure? Because you can store the procedure in your database if you require, and later on you can just call it whenever you require. Usually, the big companies are doing such things if they require for that. Otherwise, they will on the spot they will write a procedure and they will execute. But that is possible. For procedure, we are having the two parts. Before as keyword like this. Before as, in place of as, you can also use is keyword. I'll just mention that also so that you will not get confused. As or is, before this keyword, whatever you are having is known as the procedure header. And from after this, whatever you are having, this is known as a procedure body. Okay, so this is about the two parts of the procedure. This is one example which I explained just now. This is a create or replace. Then we are having the name of the object which we want to create, that is a procedure. Then we require the name of the object, that is a procedure name. And then we require variables which we want to access or import or out for that result. So those variables we are declaring here before the as keyword. Okay, so we are writing here that part. Then we are having the procedure body, which is starting with begin and end. In between that, we can write any declare the local variables which we require. So here we require only the body part. I have not taken any variable. The columns I am using here directly as per our update statement. Now here inflation rate value, which I am going to take from the user. I have not inserted any value over here, right? So that value I will take from the user during the procedure call. So that is, my voice is breaking. Everyone is having same issue.
Yes, ma'am, in between little.
Okay. Okay, I'll just continue. If still the problem is there, let me know. So here inflation rate value which I am going to provide. So for every procedure you require to compile at least once. So once you need to compile at the rate inflation procedure name. So that way you can compile your procedure. Once you have compiled, you can just execute the procedure using execute procedure name with the values which you have mentioned in your before the as keyword in the bracket right here. Sorry. So here I have written inflation rate only in number. So if I am saying in number, so whatever value I am passing in this while execution, the data type has to match. So the inflation rate value has to be in number only. Okay, so it is 2. It is matching with that, right? So that is about execution. This is another example where I explain with the help of cursor. As I told you, cursor is nothing but just a temporary storage. So temporary storage, why we are using every time instead of writing the things which I want to use somewhere, what I will do, I will store the result of this in this cursor one. So I have given name as a cursor. Cursor is a keyword where I am creating cursor. Cursor one is whatever this is there, the result will get stored into this. And then from here I am just starting with my procedure. Okay, so here when you want to use the cursor, these all statements I will explain when I will explain the cursor part, but still right now as it is there, I will tell you that whenever you want to use a cursor, you have to open that cursor first. Okay, so I am opening the cursor, then loop depends on your requirement, you can create a loop. I am saying fetch the cursor one, means whatever values are there present in cursor one, fetch one by one. All values will not get fetched together, it will fetch one by one. So for that purpose I have said loop. So fetching the value in this variable which I have created here as v underscore empno number. Okay, now I'm saying exit when cursor one not found. So if cursor one not found, it will directly come out of this and end the procedure. If it found the values are there, then I'm executing this update statement, normal update statement which we have studied, and according to that I will get the result for that. Okay, this is one example I explained. Then this is the way to execute the procedure. We'll do this in practical, how to get the result for that. In this example, I just explained this part. When you want to print anything using the procedure, you just write this line, dbms underscore
Ma'am,
output dot put
again
underscore.
breaking.
Yes, again breaking. Wait, I'll try to use the headphone.
I hope. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So let's see with the headphone, at least it will work properly. So here we have used the dbms underscore output dot underscore, sorry, output dot put underscore line. This statement, this complete all these 4 words are used to print the whatever statement we want to display as our output screen. So remember, dbms underscore in exam, if this question is asked by the example, you are getting confused whether underscore is there here or here, whatever. So don't get confused, just learn it, whatever syntax is there. So this is used to display the output. Now there are parameters, right? We have used here parameter. These all are parameter. V underscore first int, right? I have used here in keyword where this is the column name or parameter name which I want, and this is the data type, right? Somewhere here I have the same thing parameter, but that is not that is not related with the uh, in or out parameter. That is just I want the local variable which I am passing. So now here, when you require the parameters which you require to be read or write from the procedure, that is before as keyword, those can be of any one of these, in, out or in out. In means you just want to read the value, means you are just taking input from the user. Out means you are returning the value, and in out means you are giving the value as well as you want some output also. So read and write. So these are the different modes of the parameter where you can provide in this way. So that is given here. In means only read value, passes a value into the program. Out means passing a value from the program, back value back from the program, and in out both way. So now these parameters which we just discussed modes of the parameter. For those were the modes for those parameter. But these parameters can be of different types. So those can be of formal and actual. So formal parameters are just nothing but the name specified within the parenthesis as part of the head. So here I have just shown you the example. In this example, we will take here, this is my formal parameter. Whatever I will write parameters over here, those are my formal parameter, and the values which I will provide into my calling procedure, those are my actual parameter, means actual value of that. Okay, so remember that that is only about the formal and actual parameter. Now again, this formal actual parameter, when I'm saying formal parameter, if there are more than one parameter, then definitely the order is important if I am using the positional notation. Okay, so when I want to pass the value, I have to check that I am passing the value as per their name. Suppose I am having this example only I will take. If I am having ID, number and name out varchar, so I have to see to it that I will pass the value of ID first and name value second. So this is a positional parameter. And if I am having the using the name notation, so in that name notation, while calling the procedure, what I will write, this line will remain as it is. Second, this is my header part. Now here executing the procedure, execute procedure name. Here I will write ID with the arrow 127, comma, name with the arrow, whatever name you want to pass. So that is about the name notation where it makes the use of this arrow. Okay. So for name notation, order does not matter, but for positional notation, order matters because there you are not providing the name of the formal parameter. Then I explained this example for the procedure where I want to find out the author count. So what I required here, I need to provide the customer name for that. So customer name which is given, and based on that I want to find out the count for that customer. So in this case, I am just connecting this customer name as my author name. So what I have written for that in a body portion, select the count of author into this variable a underscore count. Why? Because that is a variable which I have considered in my procedure, a underscore count. From the table name, where? Why I have written this line? Because in depositor, the customer name is customer name, but that I have created here in procedure. So I just want to say whatever value I will pass here is same as whatever value present in your table. So matching with that, somewhere I am passing the value which is present in your table. So this customer name are same as my procedure customer name. So based on this, in means I am providing the value for the customer Smith, and out I want the count for that. So out means whatever result I'll get from here, that will be provided over here. Okay, so that is about the one example for the procedure. These are some construct which I said you can study by yourself. I just told you what things you can use for the procedure. That is, you can use while, repeat. You require, it is not compulsory to use all this as per your requirement. Like in one of the example, I think we have used, here we have used if else. Okay, so it depends on whatever you require. It is not compulsory. Just learn, go through the syntax. That is about the procedure. Okay. So shall we go ahead with the function?
Ma'am, for in triggers, can we use this dbms underscore output dot put dot
Yes.
underscore like?
You. Yes. Yes. 1 minute. Huh? Just 1 minute. Yes, students. What happened, Uttam? What you have shared?
Ma'am, by mistake, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
What you said?
Ma'am, by mistakenly it has been sent, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we were at procedure done. Then our function we are going to start. Now the function, I'll just show the slideshow. So here, what are the function now? Functions are a type of stored code and are very similar to the procedure. Now, as your concept is clear about the procedure, so somewhere functions are related with that, but there is a difference between procedure and function. That is, function is a PLSQL block that returns a single value. Function is always returning a value, whereas procedure may or may not return a value. Usually never return, but it in some situation it may return. So that is the main difference. Function will has to return a value, whereas procedure may not. Okay, functions can accept one, many, or no parameters, but a function must have a return clause in the executable section of the function. So function can accept one, many, or no parameters, but a function must have a return clause in the executable section. So this return clause is very important in function when you are creating a function. Whereas in procedure, nowhere in syntax we have seen this return keyword, right? But in function, this has to be there. Okay. The data type of the return value must be declared in the header of the function. So the header of the procedure we have seen, same way header of the function will be there, but the data type of the header, return type of your value which you want to be as your output, for that the data type has to be declared in your header portion of a function. So this part is different from that, where in our procedure we are writing the name of the object which we want to be as a output, but we are not saying this is my return value, that when I will call the procedure, I will get the result. A function is not a standalone executable in the way that a procedure is. It must be used in some context. You can think of it as a sentence fragment. Okay, so function can be used in some other program also, where you can just get the output of that. So small function can be used as one of the part of your code, big code. Okay, a function has output that needs to be assigned to a variable, or it can be used in a select statement. So that we will see with the example. 1 minute of previous Krishna was asking one question, but in between I stopped because of the call. Krishna is there? Krishna?
Yes, ma'am.
You were asking some question, right? And I just started the function.
No, ma'am, I didn't ask
About
anything.
trigger.
Yes, I asked that can we use dbms underscore output that in trigger, like the
Dot put
function of
underscore
output?
line.
Yes.
Yeah. You can use it if you want just to print the value. You can use in a trigger, but trigger is already having its own syntax, right? We have used for a trigger to display the message. If you just want to go ahead with the other message display, then for trigger you have to write with that notation. So you cannot use this line with the trigger, dbms underscore line. Sorry. In trigger, we required to write our own statement, error message with the
So only error
message
messages
number.
we can write using that
Yes.
kind of
If you
syntax.
yes. Uh, Okay, I'll continue. So function, we have just a difference between procedure and function. Function always return a value. Return keyword has to be there in function. The value which you want to be a return, for that the data type has to be declared into your header of the function. Okay, so that is about the function. This is the syntax for the function. You can see create or replace. This is optional. Function, name of the function, with that whatever parameter list, the same as the procedure, and here we are having this return data type. Okay, there we are just writing the variable name with the data type completely. Here you are writing the return data type, only that, no name of the column or whatever value you want, right? Only the data type, is or as, begin, body of that, and return value. So it is in the body whatever is there, with that this return keyword has to be there. So basically these are the things which are compulsory to present over there. First one, create function name, parameter list whatever you are having, return data type, only data type, is as, begin, portion, body whatever will be there, and return keyword with the return value. So with example we will see for that, don't worry. Does not necessarily have to have any parameter, that is here parameter list. It is as up for procedure 0 to many. It must have a return value declared in the header. So return data type in the header. It must return value for all the variable possible execution string. So here return whatever the value. The return statement does not have to appear as the last line of the main execution section, and there may be more than one return statement. There should be a return statement for each exception. So here I have shown as a last line. So here in between, in begin and end, wherever you require, you can use this as per your requirement. So you can have more than one return value. A function may have in-out or in-out parameters, but you rarely see anything except in. So these are the same modes of parameter in, out or in out, but usually in function we go for a in because it is returning the value. Difference between function and procedure, as I already told you, but still function and procedure can be written in SQL itself or in an external programming language. Functions are particularly useful with specialized data types such as an image and geometric object, which we will not do. But usually functions are created for that purpose when you are having things related with the objects. Some data type systems support table valued function, which can return a relation as a result, complete relation out as your output. Okay. Similar to the procedure, we can use loops, if a statement, assignment operator in function also. So this is an example for a function. We are having create or replace function. Again here replace is optional. If you don't want, you cannot use. Name of the function, employee function. This is the parameter which is I have written employee number. Return only data type, that my return value will have of type varchar or varchar2. Okay, as or is ename varchar 250. This is one value I am saying. Begin and end. In between, exception part is optional. Exception part is optional. That is up to you. Select ename into e underscore name. This ename is a name which is present in this employee table. The value for ename from the table ename, I want to put into this variable name, which is the variable of my function. Sorry, which is the variable for my function. Okay, return e underscore ename. This is the return value for which my data type is varchar2. So clear? Here we are just mentioning the data type, where here you are providing the name of the return value which you want to return. So that is important. So when we will do with this with the practical, that time it will be more clear with you people. An exception is optional, as I said. Now here I have just written this: select department number, employee function, EMPNO from EMP. So now what I am saying here, select department number. So department number I am getting as per our table, which we are going to create in now values we are going to add in second experiment number 4. So I have taken that, selecting the department number. So I am getting department number. Employee function. This is one of the function which I have created. What the function is there that I am saying, this function, in this function I am storing the employee number. So you can see in employee function, I am function name is EMP, value is employee number. With that, I am storing here the name of the employee. You can see here EMPNO is a number, for is a input. So I am getting here EMPNO. This EMPNO I want to replace with ename, employee name. So return value I am saying data type for this EMP. So for that employee function, when I am saying EMPNO, when I will pass the employee number, that is maybe whatever one number, then I should get the employee name in place of that, or in place of employee number. When I am passing the employee number, I want the employee name to be replaced with that. The same program we will do for your practical, so you will get clear idea about that. Right now just think about it. Function is again having the header and the body. Function, for function you have to write a return. It can have 0 to many parameters. It always requires a return for a value which you want to be to return, and here you can have 1 to many number of return statements. You can write return statement in between any part of the body, any place of the body. Now here when you are saying for function, always first you have to return the data type of the return value in the header of the function. That is the only difference. So remember that part. We will do this program during our practical. So similar way, define a function that given the name of the customer, return the count of the number of accounts owned by the customer, number of account by a customer. So for that I have to write a function. So I am saying create function name, customer name with varchar 20, returns integer. I want the count, so count will be always in a integer. So this is my return data type. Begin and end of the function. Declare a count as integer because I am going to store the value in this. So I am declaring this variable as integer. Select count star into a count. Count star into a count. A count is the variable which I have just now created from the depositor table, where depositor dot customer name is equal to customer name, because function name is, or you can here write account underscore count dot customer name. This customer name is a part of my function and this customer name is part of my depositor table. So I want both should be same. And finally, I want to return the value of a count. Whatever count I got, I have stored here, that I want to return. Okay. So for that, I have written this function. Similar way, this is another example of that, of a function. So these are another example. I will not explain all the example right now. We'll go ahead with that. That is about the function right now. Simple. But when you are looking such type of code where exception and everything is added, you may get confused. So don't think about that. Go with a smaller program. You will understand it easily. Okay. So that is about the function and procedure part we have finished. Any doubt in function?
Ma'am, can you show the exception for one?
Yeah. See here, when I am saying exception, when no data found, if there is an except that I am not getting any result over here, then return the course is not in the database. Instead of writing the dbms underscore out dot which we have written, here you are returning the value. So not displaying. Okay. And then return the whatever error. So exception can be of any type. If there is a number division part you are doing somewhere here, the way you are doing in other programming language, that is there, then again you are writing that exception part. So exception is you are made, whatever you are having. Okay. Shall I move ahead with the cursor? Yes. Students, is it going like finding difficult? Are you finding it difficult? Don't worry at all. We will do this during the practical. Then you will come to know it is not that much difficult. When you get result of anything, you will find it easy. With the theory only, it is not possible to understand everything. So we'll create one procedure, we'll create one function so that you will understand it properly, more detail. So don't worry about that. Okay. So I'll just I'll stop here right now because I am finding that people are just quiet. So maybe they are finding it slightly difficult.
We are able to understand.
Okay. So I'll go ahead. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I'll continue with the cursor then. So now cursor, as I already covered few part of the cursor in the procedure part, because that example I required to show you for the procedure. So right. So cursor is nothing but enables user to loop around a selection of data. So we have created loop, right? Whatever data you have created, data you have received, we store that data into the CUR1, curve1 as the name of the cursor, one of the cursor, and that we have referred in our further part, right? So what is a cursor? A cursor is a temporary store of the data. As I told you, like a buffering the data, buffer data, just storing temporarily for your requirement. So that is a cursor. Stores data selected from a query in a temporary area for use when opened. So it will store it in a temporary file for your requirement. Whenever you want to use that data, you just have to open the cursor. Okay. Use complex action which would not be feasible in standard SQL selection queries. So why, when to use a cursor? when you're having your code is going so lengthy and where you're finding so many queries in your program, data number of times. So instead of writing the query again and again, just create a cursor, store data and use the cursor name over there. Okay. So the data is populated when the cursor is open. Once open, the data must be moved from the temporary area to a local variable to be used by the program. So once you have opened the cursor, you have to use the data which is available in that cursor. These variables must be populated in the same order that the data is held in the cursor. So that I will show you with the diagram. The data is looped around till an exit clause is reached. Till the data is not found, cursor will go into the loop. Once the data cursor has reached to the last, no data is found, it will come out of that and it will continue with the next statement. So here, declared as a variable in the same way as standard variables. So you can see cursor name is whatever value I want to store in that, that is my SQL query. Okay, so this is my SQL included. Identify as cursor type. So cursor is of cursor type. Cursor name is, and whatever your SQL query you want to store in that, result of that. So here you can see cursor function. Here one table is given right now to for your understanding. Just have a look on this. We are having here 5 records with this. Suppose select employee ID, whatever I am getting this result. Employee ID, surname, grade, salary, all are not added. I have just taken few from that. Main thing is row important here. So when I am saying my cursor is at this point, this is my current row for my cursor. Okay. So cursor will go ahead with this. Create a named SQL area, that is a declaration. Identify the active set, that is from where you want to access the data. I have created the cursor by using the SQL query. Declare that as a cursor. Now when you want to use the cursor, you open that cursor. Load the current row into the variables, that whatever the data fetch, whatever data, current row, just now I show you third row was the current row. So I want to fetch with the row, for example, employee number is so and so. So I will get that data only. So that fetch that data. Test for existing row. Test for other rows exist with the same query or same data. Check for that result with the fetching part. If no, return to fetch if row found, and exit if no data is found. Release, that is a close the cursor, release the active set. Okay, that is whatever temporary set you are using, release it. That now no data found, so I don't require this data. So release it, close the cursor. So now here, open the cursor. When you will open the cursor, it will start with the active set which you have selected. Suppose the cursor is active at this pointer on first row. So it will fetch that particular row into the variable which I have written into. So that variable will get that data. Then cursor in a loop, cursor will go ahead. It will go to the second row which is available with the cursor. Then it will fetch the data into again my variable, and it will continue till my cursor is empty. So once it is empty, it will get cursor with no data found. So then it will come out of the cursor, it will execute the cursor, close the cursor, and finally it will continue with whatever statement you are having in your function or procedure. So that is about the cursor, how the data is fetched. Now the cursor is having some attributes. One attribute out of that we have seen percent not found. Okay, so here is open. So if here it is checking whether the cursor is open or not. So true evaluates true if cursor is open. Not found, true if no data is found. Found, true if the data is found. Just reverse of the previous thing. Percent row count. Here it gives us the total number of rows returned so far. So if you want to use this attribute, you can go, which will be in a number. Otherwise, other values are in a Boolean. So that is about the cursor. The same example I have explained you, a similar type of example I have explained you for your procedure. What we have done here, sorry, create or replace the procedure name as these are my variables. EMP ID number, cursor name is whatever I am storing. Select employee ID from employee where grade is greater than 4. So result of this I am storing here. So declaring my cursor. First part. Second part what was? After declare, I have to open the cursor. So begin. Open the cursor. So I have opened the cursor for the use. Now once open, it will go into the loop around it, looping, fetching the values. Third part was the fetch. Fetch cursor name into this variable. Place the values in this variable. And it will continue the loop till I will not get the no data found. Till the end of the cursor. Accordingly, it will go ahead, one value found, it will go ahead, it will continue with the second value, go ahead, third value, and so on. Okay, and according to that, once the data is not found, it will come out of the loop and it is close the cursor, end of the cursor. Okay, that is same thing, create a procedure, how to execute and all that we have seen. Use of conditions again in cursor if you require. Basically cursor, or we can say procedure. When you require, you can go ahead with the if else statements. You can go ahead with how the percent is used. Use the percent cursor attribute before performing a fetch to test whether the cursor is open. So that way, if not cursor sample, percent is open. Then if not, please check whether the cursor is open or not. Not open, then open the cursor. Otherwise, just write open cursor. You can, if you want to check, you can write this statement is open. Otherwise, no need to that. Just go with the open cursor. This is just how to make the use of the attribute. Similar to that, cursor and records. If you want to find out, process the rows of the active set conveniently by fetching values into the PLSQL record. Just create a cursor with the value and fetch the value the way we have created in a procedure. That is the only records you are fetching. That we have already done with the procedure part. Here, fetching the part. Specifically with row count, if you want to go, then use the attribute percent row type. Okay. Then for loop, if you want to go ahead with the for loop, for record name in cursor name loop. Write the statement. Retrieve employee one by one until no more are left. Again, create a cursor. Begin with that. Using the for loop, I am retrieving the employee till the end. Just write this for loop and everything is a part of your normal programming. You should know. Only thing here, the variable name and everything you have to use in the terms of database which we have created. So that is about that. Okay. So this is the last comparison. To process all rows of a selected set, we are using cursor. Cursor you can use with the procedure or function if you require, but mostly with the procedure. Procedure requires the parameter and calling them for a result. Functions require the parameter, return value and calling them. So that is possible. That is the difference. Now here, whatever this part I showed you in exam, usually till here it is you can explain properly. If you are not explaining this part, if theory question is asked, I am saying that is acceptable. But at least till here with all attributes, what is the function of that? What is the process of cursor execution? This everything you should explain in your exam properly, and which is easy for you people to explain also with the diagrams. If you are not going, this is for your understanding. If you want to use, I have just added that. Okay, this is about the procedure, function and cursor. Recursion I will cover in next slide because that is right now that time is not there. Even I have meeting after that. So till here everything clear, student? Function, procedure and cursor. Cursor can be a part of a procedure you can create to make it simpler. Okay, just temporary storage of that. Okay, so I'll just take attendance. Within 5 minutes, I'll just ask you about your